Chapter 5. Officer Selection Board. So, why do potential officers have to go through an extra step in the recruitment process? An ADF officer is a leader, required to manage and positively influence others to achieve important professional objectives. There will be times when an officer needs to lead with great courage and dedication. In any situation, they will be expected to maintain loyalty, honesty, and good communication. Each officer selection board is slightly different depending on the service. You could be required to participate in a combination of a written exercise, oral presentation, a group exercise, a practical exercise, and an interview with a panel. If you're applying for ADFA or RMC, the Officer Selection Board takes place in Canberra over a few days. As well as assessing your officer qualities, the ADFA Board gives you the chance to take a tour of the campus and spend time with potential classmates. If you need to travel interstate for your Officer Selection Board, flights, meals and accommodation will be paid for by Defence. On the day, you'll be assessed by a board including a president, a specialist officer and a defence psychologist. Preparing for an Officer Selection Board is similar to preparing for the defence interview. The major difference? They'll be looking for more depth of knowledge and evidence that you've really thought about what it means to be an officer in the Australian Defence Force. An ADF officer is a leader, and leadership is the major ingredient which binds a team together through loyalty, honesty, and good communication. So, the board will also be assessing your leadership potential throughout the day. As part of your preparation, get out there and soak up as much information as you can. Your DFRC will do their best to put you in contact with a member of the ADF currently working in the job you're applying for. And make sure you go to any public defence activities happening in your area, like ship visits, air shows, and base open days. At the end of the Officer Selection Board, you'll either receive a recommendation for appointment or a non-recommendation. If you do receive a recommendation, this isn't the same as confirmation that you'll receive a job offer. If you receive a non-recommendation, it's important that you listen to the advice from the board and discuss your options with the DFRC representative there on the day. Your results will then be assessed against all other Officer Selection Board candidates across Australia, and you'll be advised as to your success later on in the year.
The preparation is pivotal to success at Officer Selection Board. We're looking for candidates who have thoroughly researched the role of the officer for which they've applied and who also understand the organisation and the organisational culture of the arm of the Defence Force for which they've applied. And the reason that's really important is because it gives us an indication and an insight into the level of motivation and dedication to the task that the candidate has towards that job. We're looking for people who have leadership potential, which is clearly important to us with respect to the role of an officer. That doesn't necessarily mean that the person has had leadership experience, but certainly they must understand the principles of leadership and of management and have the potential to be trained to a high level of skill that would make them very effective in the role of an officer.
Coming up next, the fitness test.